very good afternoon to our viewers and welcome to a very good evening to our viewers and welcome to the 1873 TV. My name is Tinashe Mpasiri, and this evening on the 1873 TV we happen to bring you yet another insightful and informative show on Shabhani Mashaba Mines SMM Special Part 9. And the last show we had, that was on Friday, we managed to also look at other facts pertaining to the indebtedness of Shabhani Mashaba Mines as alleged at the instigation of the reconstruction. And joining me this evening, I happen to be joined by Mr. Mawere. Mr. Mawere, a very good evening and welcome to the 1873 TV.
Good evening, Tinashe, and good evening to the viewers out there.
So we continue learning, and also being enlightened pertaining to the facts and that surround the circumstances of Shabhani Mashaba Mines. And what we established on Friday was that according to the documents that we got, that is also a letter that was from the then chairman of ZESA, Mr. Gata, as well as a letter from RBZ which was written by Mr. Chasi at that time. We learned that there was not at any point that SMM was indebted to the state as alleged.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things that we learn just to unpack and demystify some of the big words that have been used. And when we think of reconstruction and you think what is happening in the marketplace. And I think today we're just sharing an opposing affidavit deposed to by the then Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, and under case number 12064/2004. That was before the High Court of Zimbabwe. The parties to the case were SMM Holdings and the Minister of Justice, and it starts as follows. I am the Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs in the government of the Republic of Zimbabwe, and I am, in my official capacity, the respondent in this matter. The facts that are hereinafter deposed are within my knowledge unless otherwise stated, and are true and correct. I have read the court application, the founding affidavit, and other papers filed by the applicant in this matter. I oppose the application, and I set the basis of my opposition below. The applicant, SMM Holdings, the applicant or SMM UK, is a non-resident, and therefore, in order to secure an award of cost that may be made against the applicant in these proceedings, it is contended that the applicant should deposit an appropriate sum of money as security for any such cost. I have averred that 100 million Zimbabwe dollars would be an appropriate amount to be deposited by the applicant as security for cost in this case. And Mushana, do you understand what this refers to?
Maybe if you can elaborate a bit further. I understand that what is being done there is there's a request for security for court.
That's right.
This is what pertains to the 100 million Zimbabwean dollars.
Yeah.
And what that means is, if you lose the case, then costs are covered. If you don't lose the case, then obviously there are no costs to you because you are fighting the state.
That's right. So imagine you take away, you take control of my source of income. and then you ask me for security.
Well, that is the procedure, isn't it? You are alleged to have committed a crime. You get arrested. You go to court. Before trial, you need bail. So the court will determine.
No, I'm just saying the morality.
Some kind of.
The morality of it.
No.
I'm just saying.
I understand, but that's the process, isn't it?
No, even the courts would refuse to grant security for cost when there are facts that show that the party asking for security is already holding assets in its possession. It's already in control of the very assets that the company needs to use.
Yeah, but what's interesting right now is so this request is being made by the state.
By the state. This is Chinamasa in his capacity as Minister of Justice. He is.
And it's the state that has brought the case to the court.
No, it's SMM Holdings, the parent company of SMM, challenging the decision of the minister to place.
Right. So the reason why I'm asking, to be clear, is in terms of process. Is that something that the minister, especially if it's a case against him, is he the one who makes that determination?
No, he's the one, but
is it not the court?
The law always says that justice must prevail. Because I can't take your assets, I take your house, your car, then say, can you...
No, I think you misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm just interested in the process of it.
No, you are required, because it's a foreign company that is litigating
I'm
in...
saying the determination, since I'm just thinking about conflict of interest. Is it the Minister of Justice who's supposed to, determine the amount, or is it not the court?
No, the court. So he says, I've that it would be appropriate, but obviously the decision will have to be made by the court.
Yeah, but isn't he supposed to more like remove himself from that process?
No, in this case,
the amount.
In this case, he's estimating that the cost that they would incur to litigate the matter will be to the order of 100 million. And therefore, they need...
I just find it strange that they should have a say in the matter, even in trying to determine. I think the courts need that independence.
In fact, that is an issue for determination by the court. That's why he's saying that the court should be able to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, then we go, the applicant has applied for the review of my decision to have SMM Holdings Private Limited, the Zimbabwean company, or SMM Zimbabwe, in terms of the rules of this honorable court. Unless the court extends the time, any proceedings by way of review are required to be instituted within 8 weeks of the decision sought to be reviewed. The present application was filed on 16 November 2004, when the reconstruction order to place the Zimbabwean company under reconstruction was issued on 6 September 2004. A period of well over the requisite 8 week period is elapsed, and the applicant's application is therefore out of time. No application has been made by the applicant for the extension of the time period within which it was required to file the review application. No application for condonation or reasons for delay in filing application has been proffered by the applicant. I accordingly submit that the present application should, on this basis alone, be dismissed.
That's trying
to knock the application out. Yeah.
Which is within process,
that's fine. Then we go to the capacity of Mr. Mtuma Mawere, Mr. Mawere, to depose to the applicant's founding affidavit is questionable. Mr. Mawere was declared to be a specified person under the provisions of the Prevention of Corruption Act, Chapter 9, 16. In terms of the provisions of that act, a specified person may not, without the approval of the investigator assigned to that specified person by the same minister who is in court, perform any act as a director of a company or in any manner conduct or manage the business or affairs of a company.
That's correct.
So
in what capacity were you deposing?
I'm a director, or was a director at the time as well, of the UK company, SMM Holdings.
Right. So in that capacity?
That's right. I submit that the circumstances, Mr. Mawere does not have the capacity to depose. That in the circumstances, Mr. Mawere does not have the capacity to depose to the affidavit on behalf of the applicant. And accordingly, the affidavit should be struck out and the applicant's present application dismissed. And I shall be seeking an order that the application be dismissed with cost on the basis of these objections in limine. You have no problem there.
No, I think it's using the process properly.
How do you say so? Because access to court is a fundamental right. And if I have,
he's trying to use a technicality, isn't it?
It's not a technicality. Imagine you are in a country where you have access to a court, you need somebody else's approval to go to court.
No. What he's doing there is saying, this man is a specified man, right? And what we are discussing is the technical aspect of
are you saying that, maybe just to discuss that aspect, does a prisoner have a right?
No, it depends with the law, isn't it? Some countries say prisoners have no right.
No, I'm saying is that, no, can a prisoner sue? You have had many cases of people who have been improperly imprisoned and they apply to have, while in prison, they appeal against the sentence.
Yes.
Yeah, so how can somebody say specification order issued not by the court, by the minister?
Which is what, this is my point. I am saying, if we are looking at the instruments that were available for him to use, there was a specification order. We can discuss its legitimacy or illegitimacy. That's a separate issue, right? So what he's doing is using those instruments, those tools available to him to make a case in court. Now, what we are supposed to review here is whether or not those tools existed and was process being followed. So if we establish that those tools existed and the process was due process, it was followed correctly, then our next discussion is perhaps, is it fair to have such kind of tools?
No, it's not a question. No, I'm just saying it's a first. Do you accept that no order issued by a member of the executive can limit your rights?
Well,
without offending the doctrine of separation of powers.
I completely agree. That shouldn't be the case.
Yeah, I think it's just for you and the viewers out there to note that contrary to the interpretation of Chinamasa, a specification order cannot strip someone of his rights in terms of due process.
This is based on which
on the constitution of Zimbabwe, that the constitution of Zimbabwe, even the accused has a right to remain silent, and he cannot be deprived of his rights, including the right to property. And access to the courts must be universal. It cannot be it cannot be qualified.
Right.
Either Zimbabwe is a constitutional state or it's not.
If you can, Tinashe, can you try and pull that up from the Constitution so that we can refer to it later?
Yeah,
You can continue.
the Bill of Rights is clear on the rights, even rights of somebody who has been what? Who has been accused. Yeah. So then we go on background to the operations of SMM Holdings. Imagine this is the Minister of Justice. He's giving background to court under oath. Where would he know about the background of the company? He's saying, I'm swearing. No. You said if the facts are within my personal knowledge. That's hearsay. Because he was not there when the company was acquired. Okay, let me read to what he's saying. The Zimbabwean company is a subsidiary of the applicant. The beneficial ownership of the shareholding in the applicant presently vests in the Tenor Newell PLC, a company registered in the United Kingdom, which company is currently under liquidation. How would you know all that? In March 1996, an acquisition agreement was concluded between TNN and Africa Resources Limited. How would the minister know the agreement concluded and he was not party to it?
Well, like I said, perhaps he was briefed.
I'm saying, then you say this is hearsay, then he needs supporting affidavit of the parties to the agreement. But one cannot swear under oath that these facts are within my personal knowledge when he possesses no such knowledge. I can't say I witnessed the murder and I wasn't there, or I witnessed a car accident. Then I write an affidavit and say Mashaba was driving on the wrong side of the road. But that's Zimbabwe for you. There's nothing strange about this Mr. Shinamasa. He knows everything because he's possessed, impregnated with what? With certain facts that just have legs, leave the United Kingdom, they go into his head. Then he says, Mr. Maures is said to be the beneficial shareholder of ARL. Said by who? He doesn't say. In terms of that agreement, TNN sold its holdings and interest in the applicant. Simultaneously with the signing of the agreement pertaining to the acquisition of the TNN interest, ARL concluded a memorandum of deposit and charge in favor of TNN, in terms of which the shares in the applicant company were pledged as security against payment over a period of 5 years of the purchase price of 60 million. Now you see the same character under oath. He says he knows of no government guarantee. What he knows is a memorandum of deposit and charge.
Yes.
And this is 2004. He goes to parliament and says the company was acquired using a government, yeah?
Through a government guarantee.
Fully knowing that that is not true, because we know that he signed under oath an affidavit. Yeah?
That is true.
Can you believe this character? That he has no memory of what he has said before. He just pulls along as a bulldozer.
inconsistencies.
No, mischief, criminality. Because he knows what he's saying. The Zimbabwean company carries on business as a holding company. Who told him? The company holds a controlling stake in 3 public companies listed on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, ZSE, namely General Buildings Limited, Steelnet, Zimbabwe Internal Holdings Limited. Again, here you see, he knows that SMM is not just the mines. And the session was only dealing with the mines, is it? But he knows the companies are separate. Then the Zimbabwean company is also a mine of asbestos through its operating division, African Associated Mines. AA mine is considered, imagine, considered by the government of the Republic of Zimbabwe to be an asset of national importance. Considered. And where is this government? What is the address of the government? Where the consideration is taking place? Nobody knows. But in his mind, his consideration is low. Approximately 95% of the asbestos that AA mine produces is exported. The asbestos mines that are operated by AMM, being Shabhani and gas mines, constitute the entire operating asbestos mining and processing capacity of Zimbabwe. The mines employed directly over 5,000 employees and significantly contribute significantly to Zimbabwe's foreign exchange earnings. Then he acknowledges that it was employing 5,000 people. He also acknowledges that it was a significant, so he didn't take over a company that was dead.
Yes.
Otherwise, he would have stated that the company used to employ and used to generate foreign currency.
So there's one aspect I need us to clarify about specification.
Yeah.
When a person is specified, what does it fall under? Is that an arrest?
No.
What does it fall under?
It falls under limitations that you can't deal with the assets. I can't dispose of the assets. Let's say if you believe that the assets in question are process of crime.
So it's under which act is it? The
Prevention of Corruption Act. Another act.
Right.
Yeah. So this does not divest you of your rights. Because your rights cannot be divested by any officer. And no government has the power to divest and what?
Yeah, so to viewers who are listening,
Yeah.
if they're interested in finding out more about these rights that we keep referring to in terms of Zimbabwe, they can look at the Constitution of Zimbabwe on Part 2, which is subtitled Fundamental Human Rights and Freedoms. This is where they can try and draw comparisons with what we're talking about.
That's right. So the Constitution is clear, and obviously only in the animal farm can you divest rights, because you just eat somebody and you are divesting. You can deprive by being a big animal. But in the human world, imagine a minister of government whose power flows from the same people, who is supposed to be a trustee, a servant of the people. That minister now becomes the magistrate with powers given by God. Then he says the company is indebted to the state. See Appendix A attached here to also a letter by Mushipe dated 3 November 2004. Can you imagine how can in September place someone on under reconstruction. Then you have a letter dated November that applies to what has already taken place. Yeah? Or you must have facts before you take the action.
That should be the case.
In a normal country, the facts should precede a report to the police. Imagine I go to the police, I'm reporting murder. She wrote, or murder, Shinamaza wrote, says, where is the body? I say, I'm still looking for the body. But I believe that the person who is missing is dead.
Yeah. With no evidence.
No evidence at all. And this is
not anybody reporting the person missing.
Nothing. Then I say afterwards, says, okay, the person I arrested for murder, can you create a letter to confirm that he's dead? Then he goes on, the transaction in terms of which ARL obtained control of the Zimbabwean company was at the time the first major transaction that affected an indigenization or localization of previously foreign-owned Zimbabwean assets that were regarded as of major national importance. Can you imagine the bullshit?
Yeah.
The company, you have known that the company that was acquired was a UK company. Is that correct?
Yes.
And SMM Zimbabwe continued to be controlled and owned by what? By SMM Holdings UK.
Yes.
So was there any localization?
No.
No. So why did they go to the UK to take shares if it was already localized?
Well, I couldn't answer you.
No, I'm just saying is if you can't answer, then if Mushana can't answer, then it means there's no answer.
It means we would need to ask the minister.
Yeah, we need to bring the minister in the public square so he can become accountable. For this reason, various special dispensations were allowed to the Zimbabwean company. I'll set out details of this dispensation below. Imagine dispensation, and you are a company, allow dispensation when it's the role of government to facilitate job creation. And it's treated as a favor. So, in the above regard, in September 1998, you now understand what you were asking before. You were saying, when was the government guarantee, is it? Mushana, that's the question you wanted to resolve, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now we hear Chinamasa is talking of September 1998. When was the company acquired?
Way before that.
1996. So how could a guarantee that is talked about in 1998 have been used to acquire something 2 years before the guarantee was issued?
Well, I don't want to jump the gun here, but it seems there's a history of applying things in retrospect.
Okay, only in a animal kingdom you apply in retrospect.
Even animals don't do that.
Animals, they would say, my friend, last time I missed you. I'm looking for lunch.
Right. On the issue of the specification, there are quite a number of areas which contradict that aspect of it, where you don't have the right to challenge it in court. On part 68, under the right to administrative justice,
Yeah.
say something to that effect, and also part 69 on the right to a fair hearing.
Yeah.
It also says, if interested to check, maybe they could look at the Constitution of Zimbabwe, which you can download online, and you can look under that section that I previously mentioned, which is part 2 of the fundamental human rights and freedoms.
Yeah.
And I implore every Zimbabwean to have a copy of the Constitution, because this is the document that governs how you should conduct yourself in Zimbabwe.
Yeah, there's some guy called Mwititi Simbarashe. Mr. Maware, get your point, say, this political bickering will not help the people of Mashaba. I'm not in government with Titi. I'm not bickering. These things have happened before. The people of Mashaba are jobless, not because of me. So please do take your time to convert your hallucinations into proper...
Look, Mr. Mawere, I actually understand where Simbarashi is coming from. It is not always easy for people to comprehend and understand the links between what we are talking about and how this can affect them in Zimbabwe. I've had situations where people discuss, it's just an example, where people are discussing or setting up businesses in Zimbabwe or starting programs in Zimbabwe, and they tell themselves that the environment there is okay to set up. But yet we have this example of how policy changes in Zimbabwe and how that can affect business viability in terms of security of that business, as well as the lines that are too blurred between the powers of the executive and the legislation. So it is very important for us to explore these things, because one way or the other, this might affect you, even in a criminal sense, where such kind of behavior is transferred, where you are being accused of something you actually did not do, and then the laws are changed to suit that narrative that you did it.
No, in fact, you got a point. The person is not asking, he's already describing as political bickering. This is the law of the land. And I'm talking about what the minister deposed to in an affidavit before a court of law. So if he calls it bickering, political mudslinging occurs outside the four corners of court. We have a law that permits, or in terms of what the minister thinks, he is permitted to close the mine and to appoint a person of his choice to take over the rights that belong to shareholders that are enshrined in terms of the Constitution in private hands. And the minister, just out of his own whims, can do that. And most of the people don't even know that this is true. And here you have a Minister of Justice who behaves in a manner that doesn't conform to any justiciable conduct. And he's supposed to promote justice and protect rights. And there he is, piercing the whole corporate chain. So...
Yeah, and I suppose this is where the lesson is. I mean, we really need to understand what is being said before we comment. Otherwise, rushing to the answer before you actually understand what the problem is not helpful. And until next time you meet a similar issue, you won't be able to give the correct answer.
In fact, there's another one, Nyasha Wekwa Matsoke Nungu. Yes, it's not enjoyable at all. Back this side. Stop stalling. They're accusing me of stalling. They don't know that there's a roadblock created by men. So, Nyasha, please just take note that the people you trust most and vote for could be the very roadblocks to where you want to go. So don't be blind to public power and how that power ought to be limited. So we can go ahead.
Yes, let's move on.
The government issued financial guarantees for 60 million, which enabled the Zimbabwean company to access an equivalent amount from KBC Bank, NV, KBC, a Belgian registered bank that also carries on business in London. The offshore loan of 60 million obtained from KBC was arranged for the benefit of the Zimbabwean company to finance the latter's working capital requirements. It's clear this minister...
Who requested this?
It's very clear that a UK bank had an arrangement with a Zimbabwean company, and you know...
My question is, who requested for this guarantee?
KBC, the bank, the Belgian bank. It says, I can't lend to a Zimbabwean company knowing the mischief in Zimbabwe. Sometimes...
Yeah, so who asked for the guarantee? Of course, I know that
KBC
requested that. But who was doing the asking to the government of Zimbabwe?
You know, at the time, all asbestos were mined, were exported through MMCZ.
Yes.
And the SMM had procured, as part of the acquisition, local loans from using the indigenous banks.
Yes.
And those indigenous banks were then forced by the Reserve Bank to offload all exposure to SMM at the time.
Yes.
And those banks, in turn, they'd borrowed money from KBC Bank.
Yes.
So we then went to the KBC Bank to say, since you have a...
Who's we?
SMM.
Which one?
Zimbabwe.
Okay.
Yeah. It then says, I have export proceeds.
So,
Now,
so you have nothing to do with this. It's SMM, the directors of SMM.
I was no longer a director of SMM.
Are you party to this?
No, I was not a director of SMM. There's no way.
Okay, so SMM, in their structures, their capacity went to request for this.
No, in fact, it was even one of the banks that was exposed was NMB Bank and First Merchant Bank. And
when you say exposed to you, what do you mean?
SMM had borrowed money locally under normal bills of commercial paper. What happened?
I understand. Was FNB and the other bank affiliates of SMM Zimbabwe?
No, they were separate banks. They advanced money under what they called a memorandum of deposit and charge. What happened?
But I said, were they part of SMM Zimbabwe or SMM?
No, these are independent banks.
Okay, thank you.
And those banks had advanced money in the ordinary course of business on the bank of a facility arranged with KBC Bank that allowed local banks to then advance money to exporters. You know, like tobacco farmers, they borrow money for planting and whatever. When they harvest, they pay back.
Yes.
Or cotton farmers. So they had a similar arrangement where you would get Zimbabwe dollars, not US dollars. When you export, you pay the money to KBC. Then the Reserve Bank takes the equivalent.
Yes.
So these banks now were being forced to recover the money from SMM.
When you say we're being forced, what do you mean?
The Reserve Bank says directive, yeah, from the Reserve Bank.
So you have evidence that they received.
All the evidence is there, and the people are still alive.
Okay. And this directive was specifically saying everybody who lent money to SMM asked for it now.
Not everybody. They already knew who had lent money because it was under a facility. So it was like a revolving facility. Every 90 days, then you revolve to the next.
And that facility was there, a clause in there that allowed the Reserve Bank
That's right. The Reserve Bank said that they are terminating all those facilities. But we were the major counterpart of these banks because they didn't have any corporate clients.
Right. Okay.
So those banks now then approached us to say we are in trouble. If we offload, what then happens?
It becomes the Buka
So
situation.
that's right. So then SMM had to approach KBC directly to say, why do you need to go through the banks? We are the company is the exporter. And MMCZ is the one that channels the proceeds. So the foreign currency does not come direct to SMM. It comes to MMCZ. MMCZ takes its commission. After the commission, then they pay the balance to SMM. So on the foreign side, it's MMCZ. Once the money lands in Zimbabwe...
So when you say foreign side, you're talking about KBC and...
No. When you export the physical product. When the customer pays in hard currency.
Yes.
But pays to the order of which company? Of MMCZ.
Right.
Not SMM.
Because they are acting as an agent.
So if I want to borrow money as SMM, the bank will say, but you are not the exporter, you don't have foreign currency.
Yes.
So I want the party that handles the foreign currency so that before the money goes into Zimbabwe, I can take the money that belongs to the bank.
So that is MMZ.
Yeah, so KBC wanted MMCZ to give an undertaking that when the money comes, it then can pay out to what? To KBC.
Yes.
Yeah, so that is the arrangement. And the money was for working capital, as stated by Chinamasa under oath. It was not for acquisition.
No.
So if Chinamasa knew this, why would he go to parliament and change the facts when he knows what should be factual? All he needed to say, these are the facts. And if any mischief was to be part of the enterprise, then he can say, I'm now being mischievous because I got the power to do so. But that doesn't... Let's move on, okay? Then the offshore loan obtained from KBC was arranged for the benefit of the Zimbabwe company to finance the latter's working capital requirement. The arrangements relating to the KBC loan were that the Minerals Marketing Corporation acted as a borrower of the loan amount advanced by KBC. But in truth, there was no advance of money. It was just a refinancing of the loans that were already in place. So instead of First Merchant Bank or ABC being the creditor or trust bank, it just replaced those facilities.
Yeah.
Okay. And in turn, MMCZ entered into a back-to-back loan agreement with the Zimbabwean company, in terms of which MMCZ advanced to the Zimbabwean company the same amount. MMCZ is an agent, does not have any money to advance.
No.
But in this case, that's how it's misrepresented. The KBC loan was guaranteed. The loan of KBC was the one that was guaranteed, not SMM, by the government. I refer to annexure attached here too, which consists of the copies of the trade finance facility. It was a trade finance facility. Agreement between MMCZ and KBC. Agreement between KBC and MMCZ. Offshore account charge between MMCZ, KBC and SMM. And the government guarantee issued on July 31, 1998. In or about 2001, the Zimbabwe company had repaid a total of $18 million under the KBC loan, leaving a balance of $41,875,000.
And this has nothing to do with the memorandum of touch.
No, nothing, not touched at all, nothing.
Yeah, no, I'm just.
Just for the clarity here.
Yes.
Up to 18 million, the government issued a guarantee of up to only 19 July 2001. The government issued a guarantee of up to 18 million to the holders of the bills and bonds issued by MMCZ on behalf of the Zimbabwean company. What happened was that the money that SMM had received was in Zimbabwe dollars. It was just a refinancing. So SMM then paid off the balance of the 60 million. Then, under the arrangements that were in place, companies that were exporters were allowed to borrow money locally under a lower interest rate, of which SMM was not benefiting.
So this is in 1998.
Now that is July 2001. That loan was paid off. The KBC was paid off in total.
This is 2001 now.
Yeah, 2001. So KBC then is out in 2001.
Yeah. So the issue of the government guarantee is out.
That one is out. Then in place of it, because the government was the one who had limited the foreign currency, where they would say if you are an exporter, you bring your US dollars.
Yeah, you need to 50
That's right.
remittance.
And then they said
20 days.
you can borrow at preferential rate as long as we extort the money from you.
Well, not in that language, but...
But what you have not earned is not yours.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the government wanted to partake, harvest foreign currency.
They would say to you, it's your money, you've got this amount of foreign currency in the bank, but we will give it to you with the official rate. And yet at the time, they actually knew that you can't get that amount at that rate anyway.
And you see, the Minister of Justice was not part of the guarantee at all.
So this would have fallen under the Minister of Finance.
Yeah, but all of a sudden, this man becomes the Prime Minister of SMM. Huh? He captures the government, privatizes it, and he's got a memory that he doesn't have.
Okay.
So, on that note, we have, I think, for today we have covered what?
The government guarantee issue.
Yeah, then we keep. Yeah, tomorrow we're on paragraph 18 to be completed. So maybe we may be able to bring also the agreements with MMCZ, agreements with KBC, so that because there's a lot of what you call superstition. Witchcraft, and people go to TB Joshua to gather facts and sign affidavits.
Right.
In the name of government.
So on that note, it brings us to the end of today's show. SMM Special Part 9. What we are trying to get to is to understand, to unpack the facts around the acquisition of SMM, because there is a notion that SMM was acquired by a government guarantee. But from what we have actually come to learn today, as far as the affidavit that was deposed by Honorable Chinamasa, who was Minister of Justice then, what he stated in Parliament and what he states in this affidavit is contrary. So, for you to be also part of this conversation, you can simply do so by clicking a link that has been shared on the Zimbabwe Today, on the video that is live streaming now, so that you can become part of the WhatsApp group F4 SMM, where all these documents are being shared, where also this conversation can continue off the Zimbabwe Today Facebook page. That's it from me, Tinashe Mpasiri. Thank you, Mr. Mawere, for joining us. Mushana, thank you for joining us as well.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
So till we meet again tomorrow evening between 5 and 6 p.m. Goodbye.